Hello and welcome to the Lincolnshire Life website, and this is a new dimension for us that we're able to communicate with you through this video cast. It's a first for us, so I do hope you're going to enjoy it. The idea behind it is that we show you how Lincolnshire Life is put together. This idea was prompted by a feature we've got in this month's magazine, January's magazine, about the new artist in residence at Belvoir Castle. And an offshoot of that was that we were offered by Joe Caneen to produce a video to accompany this, and we thought, well, that's great, we can explain the feature, but also you might like to see and meet some of the people here who put Lincolnshire Life together. My name is Caroline Bingham. I'm actually the Chief Executive of County Life Limited, the company that produces Lincolnshire Life. And my role here is to source ideas for stories, to write some of those stories, but also commission contributors to produce material and photographers to go out and capture images for us. And then I get all of this information together, and our studio, which is based here at Lincoln as well, we have 5 designers working in there. They put the pages together as you finally see them when the magazine is printed. This feature came in by email, actually. We're so lucky we live in a county that has subjects of endless fascination for us, and we hope for you as well. And email is just one of the ways in which we receive ideas for features. It could be one of our contributors comes up with an idea. We maybe get a press release sent in that we like the idea of. Alternatively, sometimes I've just been at parties and dinner parties and I've been speaking to people, and what they're doing is so interesting. We pick it up as a feature idea to share with you. As I say, this particular feature came in by email. Obviously, our first step was to arrange an interview and actually go out to see Laury in her studio out at Woolsthorpe. And I took along with us a young lady called Carly Shooksmith, who's been working here as an intern. Carly is an architecture graduate who would really like to work within publishing and within the historic house setting. So I thought this was a perfect opportunity to take Carly out as well to see how we put features together.
And you've just been appointed the new artist in residence for Belvoir Castle. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it just occurred to me back in April that I should I wanted to create a sculpture park or a sculpture trail somewhere. And if you don't have tons of land of your own or tons of money of your own to do that, just go and buy 20 acres somewhere and do it. I just thought I'd better approach people who were landowners and who might have an interest in, I don't know, creating a buzz around their estate or their place. So I called up the National Trust and I called up the Historic Houses Association and ended up calling a bunch of different historic houses in this area. I was interested in coming near Lincoln because I had been offered a place on the MRes course to do a PhD. And so I called up various houses and offered to Belvoir Castle, you know, free consulting on the subject of Sculpture Park, and Her Grace the Duchess of Rutland. Basically, we agreed that being artist in residence was a good way forward on that.
Yeah, and Sculpture Parks is something you've done before in Montana, where you previously lived. So
I initiated a sculpture trail there by creating one sculpture in one area, which is meant to be the first of many around a whole sort of area. Much bigger than this one, I must say. Here it's going to be a 2-mile loop. Over there it's more like a 200-mile, you know, sort of trail. So here in the UK, I was thinking, my vision is to offer an opportunity to lots of young people, or older people if they're students. I mean, you know, to tell you the truth, there's no sort of discrimination against anybody. It's like anybody who wants to apply can apply, pretty much, to create works made from old stuff and raw stuff, right? So basically a sustainable sculpture trail. And the sculptures don't have to last for more than a year because they can get skipped again at the end, right?
Yeah.
But each time it's an opportunity for someone to, if they've never made a sculpture outdoors or a large sculpture, to be mentored by somebody who already has done that type of stuff.
Yeah.
I remember when I first made my first sculpture, I would have wished somebody could have held my hand a little bit, you know, to make it.
Yeah.
So here there's an opportunity for these people to come here to Belvoir, to Lincolnshire, and to create a big work made from recycled or reclaimed materials, which is sustainable, which is green, which is gets them thinking, instead of making sculptures with materials that are maybe, you know, detrimental to our planet, to make stuff with stuff.
Yeah, I suppose it's completely different to doing a bust, because these sculptures are going to be outside for the whole
Completely
year. So
different. Yeah, it's a totally different kettle of
well.
fish. I mean, a bust is a small contained thing. You know, you have it's a small object, even if it's a person's head. It's larger. This was a little beagle, a little beagle's bust, but basically, you know, which I'm still kind of working on. It's not quite finished. It's one of those in progress things. But yeah, no, doing large scale things. Can you imagine, like, if, for example, if you were doing it with bottles, or if you were doing it with disused furniture, or tires that are either not good to begin with, not well properly made, or that have been used and broken. I've seen the most amazing artwork that you can create using old materials and creating a new shape with them, giving new life to them. It's pretty amazing.
So you're really hoping that with a variety of different people, they'll bring different materials, different styles of work.
It's bound to be a seriously interesting variety of things, because you know, there'll be students from all over the UK. We've already had people from the Slade, a master's degree student from the Slade. I've had a young girl from Scotland who asked me, you know, she said she wasn't doing GCSE, she was doing whatever their equivalent is up there, or whatever, of art, and asked if she could be part of the competition. And yeah, so we're hoping everybody's going to come up with their own take of what they could make and create. The trail is going to extend from the Dirty Duck, which is a pub. It's actually also called the Rutland Arms. So it's called the Rutland Arms and the Dirty Duck. It's a huge old pub that's on the edge of the canal in, you know, the Grantham Canal, the one that goes from Grantham to Nottingham. And so it's going to be a loop. It's a 2-mile loop, hopefully, like just on the edge of the canal, over a bridge, through a bunch of fields and back. It's one of those things. Right now, it's already a recreational area, you know? I go for a walk every day. I have a dog, take my dog for a walk. People are bicycling down that trail. Mums are pushing prams, you know. And yeah, so it's going to be very much a rural country walk. And then around a corner, oops, there's another new piece of sculpture, you know. Ooh, wow, something else.
Which is also why it would be so interesting for the materials to be raw and reclaimed, to fit in with that kind of the surroundings that they're going to be in.
And you know, at the end of the day, I think to myself, if even one kid or one person walking past there stops throwing their crisp bags because they think, ooh, you know, gee, you know, garbage, art, maybe, you know, it's better not to kind of destroy, I don't know, you know, if you could have people just being a little bit more careful about their environment as a result of being awakened or sensitized further to the idea of an environmental concern, I think that's a good thing.
So in addition to the sculpture trial, you're also doing the busts of the Duchess's children. Could you maybe...
Yeah, well, the Duke and the Duchess have 5 children. So basically I've started to do the portrait of the middle child, actually. She's a lovely girl. She's 13, Lady Eliza. So I've started to do her portrait. You know, I've done a lot of portraits. That's one of the things I've specialized in. I've done portraits of John Travolta and other famous people, and I've also done a lot of people who are not famous. I was really lucky. The Association of Tennis Professionals had contracted Hill & Knowlton, which is a PR company in London. And they wanted to do a big splash about Master Cup Shanghai.
Okay.
So this was basically the top 8 tennis players in the world. That was a stroke of good luck, in a sense, being asked to do the top 8 tennis players in the world. It was a lot of fun, and the sculptures were made larger than life size, like as if they were the terracotta warriors, but they were tennis terracotta warriors. So I got Andy Murray, who didn't actually make the cut. He was wasn't one of the 8 that got selected, but he was one of the 20 who possibly could have been selected. So I got to meet them all and photograph them and measure them, and I used his body to pattern the body of all the warriors.
Oh, okay. Wow.
He was the one who posed for me. Yeah. So that's quite a different, doing busts is one thing, and then another thing is doing large-scale sculptures for cities. So I've done some in Ireland and Vietnam and, you know, just different places. Yeah. But here, this whole trail idea that I have for here, it's a bit different. Instead of making permanent large-scale works that would cost a huge amount of money, and in this day and age with this economy, it's not exactly easy, is it, to finance or to find the kind of money for that sort of a sculpture trail. So actually, I've been quite concerned for some time with creating work with sustainable materials.
Oh, okay.
You know?
Yeah.
With materials that are reclaimed, recycled, or raw. And I'm calling it the 3Rs because even though 3Rs is traditionally reading, writing, and arithmetic, and here we have, you know, reclaimed, recycled, and raw, I still think that either way, it communicates the idea of basics. And I think sometimes the basics in art or the basics in education are, you know, they are really, truly overlooked as being what they are, which is the foundation.
Yeah.
And I think here, sometimes people are asked to run before they can walk, and I think it's a really good idea to walk with a sculpture outside when you're being helped by somebody who's already done one. It's a bit easier than if you just said, here, Carly, go off and make a sculpture here in bronze, and we'll give you a £30,000 budget.
Yeah.
Here it's a, you know, very...
I had a very interesting morning with Laury, and one of the ideas she had was that she would maybe be able to set up for us that we could go along and meet Her Grace, the Duchess of Rutland, because obviously it's been her inspiration as well to appoint Laury as artist in residence. We were very fortunate to be granted that opportunity, and we went along to interview the Duchess. I just wanted to ask you, Your Grace, why did you respond to Laury's correspondence?
Well, if you know Laury, you know she's a pretty inspiring lady, and she wrote to me, I think emailed, and it came through to the office, and then it was passed through, because I also love art and I adore people like her with her energy. Yes. And I think she went to look at various estates in the area, and we just kind of hit it off. And I thought, what a wonderful project to be able to facilitate something like this. And the magic of living in these great landed estates with all these properties is that you can partner up with people and help things happen.
Yes, and it takes someone with that sort of drive to make it happen, doesn't it?
Yes, and I think most probably, I'm very busy with a full-on life, and someone that can run with it and has the drive and enthusiasm to really make it happen. And I think I saw that in Laury, that she wasn't going to need me spoon-feeding her. She will take the reins and make it happen.
Yes. And from your point of view, it's a unique opportunity for this generation to make a lasting legacy for the estate. What do you hope that legacy will be?
Well, I think another thing that, again, has evolved since I've lived here, which is 10 years now in the castle, is that it's a great privilege to be living in this heritage and being custodians of this history. And the other thing that is very, very important to me is that we had the opportunity of leaving behind a community that surrounds our home, that we re-engage with, we reinvest in the different ways to possibly the past. But what we can do is we can partner with the best in the world. And I think what we've been able to do with Laury is partner with one of the best sculptresses in the world.
Obviously, once all of those elements are brought together, I always compare putting the magazine together to doing a jigsaw puzzle. Not a hugely complicated jigsaw puzzle every month, but one that we want you to identify with, so that when you pick up a copy of Lincolnshire Life, you feel familiar with it, you know where to find regular information like what's on sections, dining out reviews, or it might be our fashion features, but equally there'll be new interesting features, as I say, to tell you about this diverse county that is Lincolnshire, that we love so much, and we hope you feel inspired to go out and see more of as well. Well, thank you very much indeed for looking at our first video cast. As I say, it's quite a historic moment for us here to move into this animated version, an animated accompaniment to the magazine. Hope you've enjoyed it very much. We've really enjoyed working on it and producing this for you. And I hope it won't be the last. We're hoping it'll be the first of many that will really add an extra dimension to how you appreciate the magazine and how we deliver stories about Lincolnshire to you. Thank you very much indeed.